Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world, one book at a time. So today we're diving into a really mind-bending argument from Neil Postman's 1982 book, The Disappearance of Childhood. Postman helps us see a system that's hiding in plain sight, the idea of childhood itself as a kind of information boundary. And why does this matter so much right now? Well, because our modern media, just by its very nature, is tearing down the developmental walls that once told us what it meant to be a kid versus what it meant to be an adult.
Now, the first thing to get is that this book isn't some rant about kids these days. It's a work of media ecology. Postman kicks things off with this really provocative idea. Childhood, as we think of it, isn't a biological fact. It's a social artifact, a cultural invention. It's not in our DNA, it's in our media.
I know, the idea that childhood was invented sounds kind of crazy, right? To really wrap your head around it, we have to travel back to a time when it just didn't exist.
Postman's whole point is that before the 16th century, this concept of a separate, protected stage of life between, say, age 7 and 17, it just wasn't a thing. Kids dressed like mini-adults, they worked alongside adults, and they basically shared the exact same social world. There was no kids' table because there was no separate kids' world.
Okay, so if childhood was invented, what kind of technology could possibly be powerful enough to create it? According to Postman, it all boils down to one thing: the printing press.
The printing press was really the catalyst for this whole thing. Of course, it didn't happen overnight. We're talking centuries. But it slowly but surely rewired the entirety of society. It created a world that required a completely new kind of person, and in doing that, it created a brand new stage of life.
Think about it like this. Before print, in an oral culture, information was pretty much available to everybody. Secrets were really hard to keep. But then the printed word comes along and creates this huge knowledge gap. All of a sudden, there's this entire world of adult secrets about sex, money, violence, philosophy, all locked away in text, accessible only to the people who knew how to read.
And this right here is the absolute key. Adulthood was no longer just a biological fact, it became a symbolic achievement, something you had to earn. And to bridge that new knowledge gap, society had to invent the modern school. It became this protected, separate place where we sent the young to spend years learning how to decode the secrets of the new, literate adult world. And that protected space, that whole journey towards literacy, that's what we came to call childhood.
This world of childhood, built on this carefully managed, step-by-step reveal of information, it actually flourished for over 350 years. It became so ingrained in our culture, we totally forgot it was an invention in the first place.
Then, a whole new wave of media technology came along, and it began to dismantle the very informational walls that print had so carefully constructed. Things like the telegraph, radio, and especially television, they created a totally new kind of information environment.
Postman uses this really powerful metaphor to explain what happened. He says electronic media, especially TV, is like a door to the adult world. But here's the catch: this door has no lock. It's total, unfiltered disclosure.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Reading takes years of disciplined training to master. But television, it demands almost nothing from you. A 3-year-old can watch the exact same program as a 30-year-old. It doesn't separate its audience by skill, and it requires no training. So suddenly, all information, every adult secret, every complexity, every joy, and every horror is available to everyone, instantly, all at the same time.
So what happens when a culture just can't keep its secrets from its young anymore? According to Postman, the line between childhood and adulthood doesn't just get blurry, it starts to completely disappear.
The result is pretty much inevitable. The two worlds start to merge. You see it in children's language, their clothes, their games, their knowledge of the world. It all becomes more and more indistinguishable from the world of adults. And at the same time, adulthood itself is sort of redefined downward. What you end up with is what Postman called the adult child, a single, blended stage of life where the old distinctions just don't hold up anymore.
What's really amazing is that Postman wrote all this decades before the internet as we know it even existed. His analysis leaves us with this massive question. If childhood is a media construct, then what are we constructing right now? Our current information environment isn't just erasing an old idea, it's actively shaping a whole new definition of what it even means to grow up. For the full, long-form deep dive into this book and its ideas, follow the link in the description. If you enjoy this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.